Number 10. The Boy Next Door. When a gorgeous and attractive adolescent Noah moves in next door, Claire Peterson, a newly separated high school teacher, welcomes his acquaintance and engages in a little harmless friendship. Noah spends more time at Claire's house, and the two engage in a risky seduction play. Claire is smitten by Noah's endearing attitude. Claire finally succumbs to temptation and sleeps with Noah. Claire realizes her romance with Noah was a mistake, and tries to avoid him around the neighborhood and at school, but Noah has become obsessed with her. He refuses to give up their relationship, and begins abusing Claire in an unpredictable manner. Number 9. I Am Love. This film depicts the lives, relationships, and frustrations with an affluent family. Tank Ritchie and his son Edo have taken on responsibility for their family company as the Ritchie family endures a significant change in succession. But Edo was not happy to carry on the family business. Edo and his friend Antonio had always wanted to run a restaurant. However, things start to go haywire when Tank Ritchie's wife, Emma, begins to frequent the restaurant. She falls deeply in love with Antonio, which leads to an extramarital affair. As a result, the entire basis of the family may be completely wrecked. Number 8. Good Luck. This 2014 Brazilian film portrays the life of Joe, a teenage boy who has a number of psychological disorders, causing his family to admit him to a psychiatric facility. There he meets Judith, a 30-year-old HIV victim, and falls in love with her. Unfortunately, Judith doesn't have much time left, and they both know it. However, they make each other happy inside the hospital. Joe finds Judith with the clinic staff one day, and they split up until Judith's condition deteriorates. When Judith's condition worsens and she is on her deathbed, Joe decides to stay with her. Number 7. The Maid. The romantic drama The Maid, written and directed by Paul Emanuel in 2014, is a highly fervent romance about Jack, an angry and resentful adolescent who returns to England to spend his 18th birthday with his alienated and frustrated father. There Jack meets Maria, a lovely 30-something woman who works as a maid for his father, who has been physically and emotionally estranged as a result of her child's abandonment. Their romance deepens as they learn to love again, let go of the past once and for all, and turn their lives into new dimensions. Number 6. The Reader. 2008 romantic drama film. The Reader portrays relationship between a strange woman with a teenager, called Michael. When young Michael is discovered unwell and feverish on the street, he is taken to Hannah Schmidt's, a mid-30s bus conductor's apartment to be cared for. After Michael recovers from fever, he seeks out Hannah to express his gratitude. The two swiftly become entangled in a passionate but covert relationship. Despite their close relationship, Hannah mysteriously vanishes one day, leaving Michael confused and heartbroken. 8 years later, while studying law and watching Nazi war crimes trials, Michael is surprised to see Hannah reappearing in his life, but this time as a defendant in the courtroom. Number 5. Personal Effects. The film explores an unusual relationship between Walter, a teenage boy, and Linda, a woman in her 40s. After his sister's tragic death, Walter returns home to live with his mother and granddaughter. To cope with the trauma, he began working in a restaurant. There he meets Linda, a gorgeous older lady, who is a widow and works as a wedding planner. Her husband was murdered at a bar by his friend, and she has a deaf and mute son. Linda and Walter come together as they try to cope with the pain and anguish of their losses, their shared traumas resulting in an unusual and beautiful friendship. Number 4. Mammal. This film is a portrayal of a contemporary woman named Margaret who lives in Dublin. Margaret is a lonely divorcee in her late 30s, who works in a charity shop and enjoys swimming alone in her spare time. The absence of her son, whom she abandoned as a child, coincides with Margaret's desire to provide asylum to homeless adolescent teenager Joe. As Margaret and Joe's mutual reliance grows, they begin to confuse the boundaries between parental affection and sexual intimacy. Their tentative trust is threatened by his involvement with a violent gang and the escalation of her ex-husband's grieving rage. Number 3. The Other End. Diogo. A restless middle-class teenager with a strange fetish. He likes to call his mother's female therapy patients and perform sexual acts while talking to them on the phone. One day, Diogo calls Angela, a 43-year-old recently divorced woman. Angela was initially annoyed by discovering about Diogo and his secret desire, but she's been attracted to him because he is the only person who calls her every day, and she feels there's somebody who cares about her. Angela and Diogo fall in love after feeling a genuine relationship. Diogo's parents found out about his relationship with Angela one day and were vehemently opposed to it. Number 2. Adore. Lil and Rose, close friends who have frolicked on the seashore near their homes and swapped secrets since they were children. Now in their mid-40s, they remain as close as ever and staying in their hometown and live just a couple doors away from each other's homes. Their children, Ian and Tom, are best friends too. The children had grown into young men of roughly 20 years of age. Rose's friendship with Ian, her best friend Lil's son, grows gradually, culminating into a sexual relationship. One night Tom witnessed his mom dating with his best friend Ian. Meanwhile, Tom begins his romance with Lil out of spite, but the interlude rapidly grows into much more. Number 1. Malina. The 2000 release Italian erotic drama, Malina is the story of a woman whose life is shattered by the misfortune of having a beautiful and enticing physique. Malina's bad luck started when her husband went missing in World War, and her public image was tainted by juicy stories. Renato, a 12-year-old boy, falls madly in love with Malina at his first sight. He began stalking her all day with lustful dreams, and believes that as a result of his care and devotion, Malina will still be accessible to him in a few years. When Malina's husband's death, a quasi-sexual hysteria grips among villagers, and Malina is soon forced to confront the consequences of it.